Hi, welcome to the Get Ready with God podcast. My name is Julie Taylor, and I am your host, and I am not God. Obviously, I'm not an expert. I'm not even a scriptorian. I'm literally just a girl sitting in front of a microphone, hoping God is real. The Get Ready with God podcast is the daily devotional podcast to help you see divinity in every day. We all know that I am a rebellious spirit, and that is why here on this podcast, we believe and subscribe to the belief that joy is the rebellion, faith is the rebellion, choosing light is the rebellion, choosing goodness, continuing on, perseverance, resilience. It's all an act of rebellion, and that's what we're doing here. And if you want more on the rebellion, how to join it, there are past episodes that you can go find that give you a more in-depth look on that. But I've known this about myself, and we've talked about how I have felt like it's such a negative thing, and it's been this big trial in my life until recently when I've kind of understood that this need to be rebellious, this need to do things differently, this need to feel like nobody can tell me what to do is actually serving me in a new and different way that I never anticipated, and I think was actually divinely given to me to do what I need to do with my life. But that doesn't mean that I have it all figured out. And the last few weeks, here's the pattern. And again, I started with a new therapist last week, so don't worry about me, okay? I'm seeing professionals. They're psychoanalyzing me. You don't need to. It's all okay. But there's a pattern for me where when I feel darkness, I have a lot of darkness in my soul. And I say that as a joke a lot, but I really do. And what happens is sometimes this darkness threatens to win. And it feels all consuming. And in times of consuming darkness, it can be really, really hard for me to connect to God or light or hope or joy or anything. It's really hard to articulate and explain. And if you know, you know. And if you don't, this sounds dark and scary. And I'm sorry. It is dark and scary to live it. But it feels like in these times, I turn to coping behaviors that really only harm me. And so to give you a lighthearted reference for it, it's like when you use the end of the toilet paper at home and something in you goes, you know what? I'm not going to change the toilet paper. I'm not going to do it. I know that's the responsible thing, but I'm not going to do it. Who does that come back to bite? Me, because it's my bathroom. Nobody else fills it. So the next time I go to the bathroom, I'm the one there left to drip dry with no hope. Okay. So it felt rebellious and nice in the moment to say, I do what I want. I don't fill the toilet paper. But really, it's just me drip drying and suffering later because of my own rebellion. And that's a nice little view of it. But on a bigger scale, it's the thing that makes me want to leave religion, leave church, stop serving people, not get out of bed, not do the right thing. And all of this feels really satisfying in the moment because it makes me feel like I'm back in control. Screw you, I do what I want. I'm not going to go to church today. I'm not going to read the Bible today. I'm not going to pray today. That feels good to me. It feels in the moment, it feels rebellious. I'm in control. You can't tell me what to do. But what that does is it keeps me stuck in a cycle of darkness, and it lets my heart get icier and icier. And it makes me cut people out. It makes me push people away. It makes everything darker and more serious. I convince myself that this is the actual truth, that the darkness I'm feeling and the isolation and the thoughts and the feelings that I'm having right now are actually the real ones. And when I convince myself of joy and light and good things, that I'm gaslighting myself then. So this is the truth. This is what's real. And any time that I'm finding joy, hope, or faith, that's just me gaslighting myself. I'm just giving you a peek into my brain. And maybe you relate and maybe you don't. But if you don't personally relate, I promise you there's someone in your life who does. And maybe this will give you some insight into their brain and maybe why they choose the things that they do. And so then it can be really challenging because when I say choose to believe, I feel like an imposter. I feel like I'm preaching the wrong thing. I'm preaching something that I don't even believe in. And I start to convince myself that none of that is real and that this is real. The hopelessness, the darkness, this is what's real, and anything else is pretend. And so if I'm going to be brave and I'm going to be honest and I'm going to look this darkness in the eye and I'm going to accept the reality that is this darkness and I'm going to live with this instead. It is immensely painful to live this cycle. And I've lived it my whole life. And I'm in it again. And I'm grateful that I'm starting to see the end of a cycle of this. But what I want to talk to you about today is what's helping me get back out of this the last week I've been kind of thinking like, sure, it's more fun to believe, but what if you can't believe? Sure, you can choose to believe. What if you can't make that choice? What then? What do you do then? It's really been a torturous week in my own brain. And mind you, we do this in our brain, but we're also, like going to work and taking care of our family and doing all the things that we need to do. And so it's just kind of disorienting to be living in this place mentally, but then still be performing in life at the level that we do. And where I'm landing is that I want to make the conscious choice to not believe this darkness that I feel and that comes over me and that threatens to consume me is a kind of a betrayal of my brain. It's like my brain turning against me and causing me harm and causing me suffering. And that betrayal of my brain, I'm deciding to just not believe. And so if I'm going to choose to believe something, if it is a choice, then we're going to choose to doubt the darkness rather than believing the darkness and doubting the stuff that actually gives me a better life and gives me a better reality. So that's just something that I've kind of realized in this last cycle of this, of just like, what if we just see this as a betrayal of my brain, something that happens to me, and we write it out, but we don't believe it, we don't trust it. The other thing that's really been helping me is to remind myself that I can do whatever I want. Truly, I can. I can abandon my family. I can run away. I can quit my job. I can leave religion. I can leave the internet. I can shave my head. I can do whatever I want. So if I can do what I want, then me choosing to do this makes it all that much more meaningful. I can do whatever I want, but I'm choosing to spend my time and energy making dinner for my family. That is so meaningful to me because I'm choosing it. I can do whatever I want. I'm choosing to keep fighting for faith. That's so meaningful because I'm choosing it. I see my choice as the most precious thing to me because it is the thing that I fight against so hard. If I feel like my choice is threatened in any way, I spiral, I freak out. And so if you relate to any of this, if you relate to needing to be rebellious, if you relate to all-consuming darkness, if you relate to self-sabotage in times of darkness, any of this, I just want you to try on the thought, I can do whatever I want, and that's why it's so meaningful that I'm choosing to do this. Not because I'm so special and so like what a gift it is to have my time and energy and attention on this thing, but our choice is our biggest power. Our choice is the thing God valued so much that he sacrificed his son, if you subscribe to Christianity. God values our agency and our choice so much. I value my choice and my agency so much. And so it's not about being forced to do X, Y, or Z or being trapped. It's that I can do whatever I want. And so the fact that I'm choosing this must mean that it matters that much to me, that it's that meaningful, that I'll choose it. And that to me is a much more empowering reframe than I have to. So I'll probably still keep rebelling in self-sabotaging ways, like not changing the toilet paper. But I hope I'm maturing out of and gaining enough life experience and perspective to stop the rebelling in a way that causes me so much suffering and harm. So I think choosing faith is rebellious. I think choosing light and hope and joy is rebellious in our world. And I also think that I can do whatever I want. So if I am choosing to fight for faith, it must matter a whole lot to me. Anyways, how's that? Just a nice light episode about all-consuming darkness. Okay, hope you have a great day. Love you so much. Bye.